We now begin talking about the pizza class, which is the only activity in this app. And as you can see here, we have quite a number of import statements, most of which we've seen before, but there are a few new ones in this app. So for example, here at line 12, you'll see that we've imported android.content.broadcast_receiver, and we'll be using this to allow our app to be notified once the SMS message is sent at the end of placing an order. And this will help us actually determine whether or not the message was sent successfully. Now, in order to determine whether that message was sent, we'll also be using an intent filter, which will help us look for messages that are specific to this app. There are lots of different messages that can basically be flying around the Android system, and not every app needs to be able to respond to every message. So we'll be looking specifically for an intent that has a particular message associated with it, as you'll see in a later video. Now down here, starting at line 20, we have the Android speech APIs that we are taking advantage of in this app. You'll notice that we have recognizer intent imported, and we'll be using this to help us receive spoken input from the user. And then separately from the TTS part of the Android speech APIs, TTS stands for text to speech, we have the class text to speech, the interface on init listener, and the interface on utterance completed listener. So the text to speech object will be used to actually speak text to the user. The on init listener will be invoked when the text to speech engine has been initialized. And then finally, the on utterance completed listener will be invoked every time the text to speech engine finishes speaking some text. Now, we will discuss most of the constants and instance variables that you see at the beginning of class pizza as we walk our way through the code. We've heavily commented the code to help you understand what the purpose of all these different pieces is. A couple of key things I do want to point out. Notice the constant broadcast string. We'll be using this with the intent filter and the broadcast receiver to help us filter out the messages in the Android system, looking specifically for this one message, com.ditel.pizza.sent_SMS, and again, that will help us determine when the SMS has been sent successfully, if it has. At line 37 is the actual broadcast receiver that we will be using to receive that message. Now we have a number of constants that we've defined for use throughout the app, and again we have lots of instance variables, one of the key ones being this text to speech object, which we will be using to actually speak text to the user.